Welcome back to another Porsche Car Whisperer online configuration build. We're doing another requested video today. Shout out to you, MP, on the Taycan for CrossTurismo. I am super excited about this car. I've actually been waiting for it since there were some spy photos of a drone coming out the back of the car starting in 2018. So let's go ahead and dive deep into the build. Okay, so here we are in the US configurator for the Taycan 4 CrossTurismo. So you guys can see the price starts about $92,250. Now that's with destination charge. The car is just over $90,000 without destination charge. Something I find very interesting that Porsche is doing with this Taycan 4 CrossTurismo is there's some items that are standard on this car that are not on the standard Taycan. One of those being the Performance Battery Plus. It's about a $5,800 option on the Taycan that's going to come standard. Now what is that going to do? It's going to get you more range as well as more power here on the Taycan 4 CrossTurismo. Something else that's also going to be standard is the PASM with adaptive air suspension, so you can raise and lower the car. Something that goes hand in hand with that is the car actually sits about 20 millimeters higher in the normal mode from the standard Taycan sedan. There's also something called the off-road design package. It'll raise it another 10 millimeters, so a total of 30 millimeters higher in the normal mode from the standard Taycan. Now that is awesome. It kind of goes par for the course for this Taycan 4 CrossTurismo. This is an off-road kind of car, an all-purpose, so you can go up into the mountains, maybe go into the gravel, mud, just all-purpose, and that's part of what this car is all about, and I'm very, very excited about it. So the car comes, of course, standard with all-wheel drive, so two motors, one in the front, one in the rear. Now let's talk about some of those power figures. So it has about 369 horsepower here for the Taycan 4 CrossTurismo, and just about 368 foot-pounds of torque. So this thing still hauls. 0 to 60 is about 4.8 seconds. So that's cooking. Just want to talk a little bit about some of the specs. We'll talk about more of them as we start going through the build, but let's go ahead and start building the car. So I am a big fan of this type of car in Mamba Green. So let's go ahead and select Mamba Green for the build. I think it just looks killer. This is kind of what the Taycan Turbo S CrossTurismo has. If you guys have seen any of those videos of the car being released, and I think it looks killer. Now the wheels, there's several different new types of wheels here. So these are the standard 19-inch aero wheels that are going to come with all the Taycans. But I'm actually going to select this CrossTurismo design wheel. So this is exclusive just for the Taycan to CrossTurismo. I think it looks killer, especially with the contrast. It's in that kind of satin platinum finish, and it looks really nice on that Mamba Green metallic paint. I'm also going to go in here to the wheel accessories. So with this car, as again, it's kind of an all-purpose. You can go off-roading, snow, mud. Kind of want some all-season tires, so I'm going to go in here and select all-season 21-inch tires, just so I'm not stuck if I'm going in the snow and I'm in summer tires. Those do not do well when we're in cold conditions or if we're in mud. So I'm going to select that 21-inch all-season tire. I think it would look nice with the black chalk interior, but one thing with this car being kind of an all-purpose car, they get dirty very easily. I'm just going to select the leather interior in full black. Got some really nice stitching on the doors as well as here on the dash. Looks fantastic. Seats, something I always pretty much skip is the seats because we're going to select a package that's going to already get seats going, so I'm skipping that. Here's our packages. So here's the off-road design package. It adds some really cool, what they're calling cladding to the front bumper, side skirts, and rear bumper. I think it looks really aggressive. You can kind of see it. It's right here in front of that front tire. If we go here to the side, you'll see it right here behind that front wheel and in front of that rear wheel, and then here in the back. It just adds in a really aggressive look, and it also gives us that additional 10 millimeters that you'll find as the car will raise a little bit higher. So I'm going to go ahead and select this as part of the build today. You can also make it in high gloss back or a gray. I'm not going to do that for today's build. But something I am going to do is the premium package. So I'm going to go ahead and select premium package. Now what does the premium package include? It includes the surround view, ionizer, the ambient lighting, which looks really cool at night on the inside. Adds some upgraded headlights, but I'm going to upgrade them a little bit further. I'm actually going to do these LED matrix design headlights in black with PDLS Plus. If you want to see what those look like, just looks very, very aggressive. And here's some more specs on these headlights with headlight range control. These headlights are absolutely ridiculous. So I'm going to go ahead and select these as part of the build. Seat ventilation comes with that. There's our 14-way seats. That's part of the reason we skipped them a moment ago. It comes with 14-way seats with memory package. Bose surround sound system sounds fantastic. You can also upgrade it to the Burmester sound system. 3D, amazing. Now you'll notice it's going to add the technology package as automatic when you get the premium package. So just go ahead and be on the lookout for that when you're adding that premium package. I'm not going to add that as part of today's build. I'm actually going to do the lane change assist and not the technology package. So the technology package adds a lot of really cool stuff. Adds the active parking support, which is a new option here for us in the United States. Heads-up display, passenger display, and also adaptive cruise control. I may add one of those items here down later in the road, but I'm not going to do the full package for today's build. So we're going to go ahead and just click the lane change assist. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit down here, accept the changes. I'm going to go ahead and close the packages tab. I'm going to go right here to the exterior. Now, you can get roof rails, which I think will go hand in hand with this car, but I don't think they look quite as good on the fly line of this car with the roof rails. But for some of you that you may need it for any type of surfboards or bicycles. Now that brings me to another point. You can get this really cool bicycle rack on the back of the car as well. And Porsche is releasing these new e-bikes, which I'm very eager to see as I really like to cycle. But that's something that you can also get with this Taycan 4 CrossTurismo, but I'm not going to do the roof rails as part of today's build. I am going to do the power folding mirrors. Really cool. They will be able to fold in. I added that to my Taycan that I was trying to keep under $100,000. For those of you who have not seen that video, link's actually going to be right up here above, so go ahead and check that out. You can change the window trim. We're not going to do that as part of today. Under door puddle projector lights. Yes, we're doing that. It's actually going to say Porsche, and it projects it down onto the ground. It looks fantastic at night, and it's very bright. Something I've been doing lately as part of my builds is actually deleting the model designation as part of the back of the car. So instead of just saying Taycan 4 on the back of the car, say right here below Porsche, just gets rid of it. I think it looks really classy and clean. So we're going to add that as part of the exterior. I'm going to go ahead and close this exterior tab here. Performance. Again, I talked about the battery. You would usually find the Performance Battery Plus as part of this section. Again, it's standard. It's going to get us more range and more power. So that you won't find that as part of the Performance tab on these CrossTurismos. But I am going to add the electric sport sound. So cool. Sounds futuristic. Porsche torque vectoring, we're not going to add that. The PDCC Sport, we're not going to add that. I'll be talking about these just solely in a later video, but today we're just going to go ahead and skip those. I am going to do the sports chrono package. I talked about previously that's maybe not as adamant to have the sports chrono package in the Taycan as you'll be able to get launch control regardless if you have the sports chrono package or not. But I'm going to get the sports chrono package with the compass. So it adds the dial there on the steering wheel, but it also adds a really cool compass that's going to be in place of that clock that's going to be up there in the dash. As you guys can see, I think it looks killer, and it goes hand in hand with the type of car we are building today. So PSCB brakes, we're not going to do that. Of course, that's less brake dust, and they last longer, but I think it'll kind of clash because you can't make them black as part of this Taycan 4 CrossTurismo. So I'm going to keep the standard brakes, and rear axle steering I think is a fantastic option. The car, like the drive dynamics are fantastic with that rear axle steering, but we're not going to add it to today's build. I'm going to go ahead and here to lights and vision. I'm going to skip these first couple sections. I already added these LED matrix as part of that premium package. It was kind of an upgrade to the premium package. Porsche light strip in black I think looks cool, but to be honest, you kind of lose the Porsche script when you do that black here in the back. So I'm going to keep it with the standard, and I'm not going to do the in glacier blue or the thermally insulated glass. Let's go ahead and close the lights and vision tab. We have the comfort and assistance systems. So we got heads-up display, night vision, active parking support, adaptive, and then we got Porsche InnoDrive with adaptive cruise control. I'm not going to add any of these as part of the car today. I think heads-up display is a really cool option, and the ACC with active lane keeping and InnoDrive is really cool, but again, I'm not doing that as part of today's build. We have the interior section. Now, I don't have kids, but maybe sometime in the future I will. So I'm going to do the 2+1 seating, adds an additional third seat there to the back, right in the center. And we're going to skip kind of the rest of this section here. Now I am going to add the heated GT Sport steering wheel. Makes for a sportier feel, and it's only $280. I believe it's highly, highly worth it. So we're going to do that. We're not going to change any of these interior accents or add fire extinguisher or seat belts or do any of that. So we're going to go ahead and close out of this interior section. Then we have the interior leather. So this will kind of take place in a leather, Racetex, wood, carbon fiber, or aluminum. I would just select one of these sections as you're going through it, because if you select one and then select another, it will kind of cancel each other out. So for today's build, I'm going to do carbon fiber. I'm going to do the interior trim carbon fiber. It's going to add a really nice carbon fiber inlay here on the doors, the center console. I think it just looks really aggressive. So that's going to be kind of the flavor of today's build, so to speak. Let's keep kind of scrolling through. You can see the carbon fibers down here on the sides. So we're going to skip the aluminum section because, again, that would cancel out our carbon fiber section. Passenger display. I'm going to add this as part of today's build. It goes hand in hand with kind of the rally off-roading kind of vibe we're getting with this build. Back in the day, there used to be a navigator in the passenger seat that would tell the driver which way to go. Kind of goes hand in hand with the way this car is being built. So we're going to do that passenger display. E-mobility, this is a very important tab. Power charge port doors are an awesome option to have, but we're not going to add it. As far as the onboard 150 kilowatt charger, I'm going to add it. Intelligent range manager, a must, especially for those of you that are taking the car on the long road trips. And the mobile charger connect just gives you more control over your charging experience. You can also get something called the home energy manager, where you'll be able to almost have a smart home, and it will be able to regulate the power going out to your Taycan and charge as there is less items that are pulling some type of power. Like let's say at night, that would be the best time the car will automatically start to charge. We'll talk about the home energy manager again in a later video, but that is something very nice to have, is that mobile charger connect. I'm not going to change any of these supply cables. The car comes standard with the 1450 NEMA. That's a pretty standard plug now. I am going to do this 25-foot charging cable. I think it's an awesome option. It's about a $500 option if you do it after the fact, so you can always zip tie it and it'll just give you more control over your charging experience if you're not sure where you're going to be plugging your Taycan in and where your Taycan is going to be sitting. So it adds an additional 25 feet. I'm going to go and close this e-mobility tab, and I'm going to talk about the delivery experience. So both of these delivery experiences that we have here currently are amazing, to be honest with you. The Atlanta or the Los Angeles experience, you get to have kind of a hands-on, one-on-one experience with a Porsche delivery experience specialist at the center, and then you'll be able to actually drive a light car around the experience center as well. So I highly recommend it for 500 bucks. To me, it's a no-brainer. I would definitely do that. Now I'm going to talk about one of my subscribers. We were talking about the Macan GTS or the Taycan. He was kind of going back and forth between the two. So I think this is an awesome option for you, Tom, is the Taycan 4 CrossTurismo. I know range is a little bit of a concern as you want to go and visit your family across South Carolina and North Carolina, and some of those distances are going to be kind of pushing the total range of the Taycan, but I believe this is an awesome kind of alternative to those two cars, and I'm going to talk a little bit about why and how we can charge the car for those longer road trips. So I'm going to skip out of the configurator here briefly, and we're going to go to the electrifyamerica.com website. So Tom, he's one of my subscribers. He lives in a place called Southport, just south of Wilmington, North Carolina. But he wants to be able to go visit some of his family that are either going to be in Charlotte, Charleston, or a little bit further. So as you guys can see, if he's going from Southport, it's going to be this section right here of North Carolina. To get down to Charleston, it's going to be pretty decent. I have some notes here. Charleston is just about 160 miles, so that's going to kind of push the range of the Taycan, especially if you don't have a charger. You're going to be kind of SOL. You're not going to be able to get back home. So, and there's only a couple chargers that are just outside of here of Charleston, so that's not a great option for Tom in this particular circumstance. Now, the cars do come with Electrify America, 3 years, up to 30 minutes of free charging, so of course you want to use those chargers when if all possible. But for Tom's road trip to Charleston, that's not going to be a very good option. So I would recommend going ChargePoint. It also kind of goes hand in hand with EVgo. So I've signed up for ChargePoint. It's very easy. I have a video that's going to be coming out here in the very near future about how do you charge at those third-party charging stations that are not Electrify America. But I believe this would be a good option for Tom as he lives again in Southport. There is a couple charging stations here in Charleston, so he may be able to have to make a little bit of a coffee stop as he's seeing his family. He can drive to Charleston, see his family, drive around a little bit. Maybe we'll have to stop and get some coffee and hang out and let his Taycan charge a little bit, but I think it's an awesome option for him. Another place that Tom said he wanted to go was going to be Charlotte. Again, from Southport to Charlotte, it is about 210 miles, so that's really stretching this Taycan's range, especially if you're charging it to 100% before you leave. But as you can see, there are a couple ChargePoint charging stations along the way from here kind of to Charlotte. It looks like you may pass two on your way there, and these are DC fast chargers, so it's a great option. You would be able to get there just going one way, or you can stop either once or twice to charge your Taycan, and then you'll be able to charge at some pretty significant charging stations here in Charlotte. Or if we go to Electrify America, let's go up here to Charlotte. There's one at least major charging station. You can see one a little bit north is grayed out. That means it's a future Electrify America charging station, but I think that's a great option as well. May have to stop again for coffee for a little bit, Tom, but I think that's a great option. Now, one place that was going to be kind of stretching Tom's overall range here on this Taycan and kind of getting them a little bit farther away from home was a place called Asheville. Asheville from Southport's about 350 miles, so that is quite the distance. You're definitely not going to make it on one charge from Southport to Asheville, but again, you can stop several times. ChargePoint has a couple chargers here in Asheville that he can stop at, and he'll of course have to stop a couple times on his way out there, maybe just once. But if we go here to Electrify America charging stations, if we are here in Southport, which is going to be right here on the coast, we want to go all the way to Asheville. There is an Electrify America charging station in Asheville as well, so that'll charge his Taycan very quickly from zero. Even if it's not a 400-volt station, it'll probably take you about an hour and a half. Nothing too crazy. You'll have to make another stop kind of on your way back. But I think if you use ChargePoint and Electrify America, you will have a broad charging network that you'll be able to use. Yes, on some of them you'll have to pay, but it won't be that significant. So I think this is an awesome option for you, Tom, would be the Taycan 4 CrossTurismo, kind of a hybrid between the Macan GTS as well as the standard Taycan. So I hope that was a helpful little tidbit, and I hope that you guys enjoyed today's build. I think it looks fantastic. Mamba green with some awesome wheels, some really cool inlays, these really, really cool wheels. As you guys can see here, it also changes kind of the surround of the wheel and this really cool black plastic, really aggressive look. So I'm very excited to get my hands on these cars. We'll start seeing them sometime in the summer, probably late summer here in the United States. If you guys have any questions, please leave them down in the comments below. I really appreciate you guys reaching out to me and supporting me thus far on this channel. As always, we'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.